We're going to talk about solutions of absolute value inequalities now. So get out your notes. Of course, as always, we need to put our date, which is, what is the date today? 9/9/13. AGS 1.10. Solutions of absolute value inequalities. Okay. We're going to start with some examples. The absolute value of x is less than or equal to 5, let's say. Basically, you have them like this. Okay? When you have less than or less than and equal to, bring it down like this. It becomes this. What did I do? I made the x's greater than the negative of that, right? And I brought this down, dropped the absolute value, and made the x less than the positive. If we were to graph that, I went by 2, didn't I? That's okay. I'm doing a terrible job of that. How about I just redraw this whole thing, since I messed that up so nicely. Make that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. I did good there. Okay, let's graph this. What would I graph? Am I including my endpoints? I'm at 5 and -5. Am I including them? Huh?
No.
Is it less than or equal to? So I'm including them, so I shade it in. Am I talking about the numbers in between? Talking about the numbers greater than -5 and what? Less than 5, so that's all of these here. So basically, when you have something like this, break it up to that's your rule right there. Whenever you have less than and you have an absolute value, you break it up like this: positive A, negative A. Or if you have absolute value of x less than or equal to A, then it breaks up into x less than or equal to, less than or equal to, negative A, positive A. So you're either going to have one like this, or you're going to have one like this, right? Now, what do I do when I have something like this? Think of it like this. When you have a less than, let's have put a question mark right here. And that's something, right? Okay? This is how you're always going to break this up. Everybody watch and don't write necessarily. You're always going to break this up that whatever's in the middle here, you're going to have less than, and then you're going to have your question mark and then the negative of your question mark right there. You guys see how that splits up, how you're going to do that? So in this case, the 3x minus 3 comes down. It becomes less than 9. But since it's absolute value, there are two solutions, are there not? So it's also greater than what? Negative 9. At this point, to solve this, even though the book doesn't do this, split this up into two inequalities instead of trying to solve it together. One of your inequalities would be this half of it. Everybody paying attention? What would it be? Negative 9 is what? Less than 3x minus 3. What would your other side be? Anybody? I kind of took that side, didn't I? Everybody look up here. To make that inequality, I did that. I covered that up and said that's one inequality, right? So I can solve for x. Isn't that my other inequality? Then we solve. Over here on the left, everybody stop writing, I'll let you write this down after I'm done. Everybody watch. So you see what we got to. First, we had this, right? Since it's less than, I made it to a compound inequality with, I just brought this down, less than, negative 9, positive 9. Everybody see that? Everybody with me? So, then from there, I covered up that to make that inequality. Covered up that to make what? That inequality. Now I just need to solve for each. What am I going to do to solve this? Wouldn't I add 3 first? Does everyone agree? We left negative 6 is less than 3x. What would I do now? Divide by what?
3.
So x is greater than what? Negative 3? Oh, negative 2? Bad division, huh? So there's half my answer. Over here, what would I do? Add 3, 3x is less than what? 12, divide both sides by 3. X is less than what? Now to graph that interval, what do I do? I'm talking about, I'm at -2. Put an empty circle there, because I'm not including it, am I? I said to stop writing and watch. I put an empty circle there, correct? What do I put here? What kind of circle? Am I including the 4? Does no one in this class know whether I'm including that 4 or not?
No.
No, I am not, because it's just less than. And I'm talking about all the numbers in between. Okay? Now, write that down. Because we're talking about, these are the type of inequalities you have when you have a less than, and you have your absolute value on the left. Anyone left writing? Can we go on? Anybody? Okay, everybody look up here. To review. So the situation we just did, I need eyes up here. The situation we just did was the absolute value of something is less than B, right? And how do we split that up? We drop the absolute value, less than, negative B, positive B, right? Situation we're going to work on now is when you have an absolute value and you have what? And then over here to the side for this one, does it change for less than or equal to? The only thing that changes is you have what? Less than or equal to here, correct? This is situation 1. Situation 2 is this. Now I have a greater than, or greater than, or what? Equal to. When you have this situation, it breaks down like this. E is greater than B, or E is less than negative B. So these are the two situations you're going to have on this section, correct? The ones we just worked on here, or the ones we're getting ready to work on, what? Here. So you have to ask yourself, which one do you have? Example. X is greater than 4. Which one do I have here? Situation 1 or situation 2? Huh? Remember, this is what you look at right here. Oh, that's hard to see now, isn't it? And what's the difference between the two, guys? What's the difference? Anybody tell me?
The
The sign. If it's less than, with your absolute value on the left, you break it up like this, right? If it's greater than, you break it up like what? What do we have here? Greater than or less than? This looks like situation 2, does it not? So, it breaks up into what's E? In this case is what? Is greater than what? Or E, which in this case is X, is what? Less than what? Negative 4. If I was to graph that, what am I talking about here? Am I including the number 4? So it's an empty circle on 4. And I'm talking about the ones greater than. That's to the right, isn't it? So I'm talking about that. But I'm also talking about what? The ones less than, and I'm not including it, negative 4. And that'd be to the left. See? These are closed intervals. These are what? Open intervals. Let's do a second example. What situation do I have here? Situation 2. In that situation, I'm going to have an OR. What's my E in this case? So 2x minus 4 is greater than or equal to whatever's on the other side, which is what? Then over here, I've got what? 2x minus 4. What do I put now? Less than or equal to the negative of that, which would be negative what? See how it doesn't change? How you just follow those rules? Now I just got to solve each one. Over here, add 4, add 4. 2x is less than or equal to what? Negative 4. How would I graph this? I go to 6, empty or solid circle on 6? Huh? I'm talking about greater than or what? Equal to. So I'm including that. I'm talking about the ones greater than, so that's the ones here to the right, is it not? Over here, I'm talking about less than or equal to negative 2. Am I including negative 2? Huh?
Yes.
I'm talking about the ones to the left. There's what you got. Now, everybody put your pencils down and look at me. Everybody, not just people who feel like it. You see that up there? That's exactly how your homework should look. I'm not going to stress again what I mean by drawing your figures, showing all your steps and work. I've given you a perfect example of what it should look like, haven't I? Not crazy amount of steps there or anything. But we are in an intermediate algebra class. We need to teach the process. That's what we're trying to do to help prepare you for Algebra 2. Hence, I don't want to hear that, oh, I know to do that. Yeah, I know, some of you may actually be able to see in your head that, yeah, let's see, if I put 6 in for x here on this one right here, if I put 6 in for x, I'll tell you the one I'm talking about. I realize that some of you may be able to put in your head that, you know, if I put, yeah, I can see, if I put 6 there, 12 minus 4 would be 8, yeah. That's where I understand that, come in. But I want to know that you know how to manipulate an inequality or an equation and get to this. So if you're not showing me, you don't know, therefore you don't get credit. Everybody got that? Your assignment is a whole numbers 1 through 10. That's the thing that some of you have me for different classes. You know, if you ever had me for geometry, if I'm assigning 25, 30 geometry problems, I was a little more understanding about itty bitty little things being shown, right? So I was assigning 25, 30 problems. Here I'm assigning how many? I'm not going to be understanding. You don't have to like it, that's fine. But you guys are going to learn that sometimes in life, you have to do some things you don't like. Okay?